All right, we're live.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us on the 3E podcast. I'm Trent Vandenhouten, and today we'll actually be interviewing our usual host, Greg. So, let's get started. So, first thing I'm going to ask you, Greg, is tell me a little bit about your background and why you work for the Third Element and why you're kind of passionate about it.
I actually met Paul, the CEO of the Third Element. I met him a couple of years ago at a startup initiative.
Mm-hmm.
So my passion is professionally has been around helping small business owners get themselves into a situation where they can actually launch their business. And there's so many hats that have to be worn, and so many resources are lean, but the demands are high in a startup. So that's kind of how Paul and I met, and that's how I met the rest of the Third Element team. And I was really interested, even though they utilize technology. What struck me about them is there's a huge human side to what they're really trying to do. They're really trying to improve the lives of young people, develop leaders, and create good community culture. And to me, that was the drawing card.
Very nice. So then how do you, what does the Third Element do well then, in your view, to help strengthen those ideas that you have?
The Third Element is the timing in life is everything. And I think the Third Element has been able to organize their view of the world. And their view of the world is the third element is the missing element. And that's the element around how to build emotional intelligence and mental toughness in athletes. And they recognize that in an athletic world, there's a lot of emphasis today on diet. There's a lot of emphasis today on physical skills and attributes, but in many instances, we miss the emotional and mental side of it. And I think the timing is perfect. And these guys have formed a really good platform and a tool set for both the athlete and the coach. Mm-hmm. So to me, what inspires me the most about the Third Element is it's the right time.
Yeah.
It's the right time for this to happen.
And as a parent, I'm sure you've seen your kids grow up. Why would you say that this is a very good time then to get into the high school level for kids emotionally?
That's a good question. I am a parent. I used to be an athlete myself many years ago, and I also was a parent of a hockey player. So those of you that know anything about hockey realize that means you spend 6 to 8 months of your lives in either in an ice rink or in a camp.
Yeah.
And as I look back at my kids and how they came through the athletic program, I can definitely connect with that void of a coach really understanding what culture is all about. More importantly, some coaches get culture, but they don't really know where to start or how to start in terms of building it. What I really like about the Third Element is it creates that platform that allows kids to consume content in a way that's interesting to them and fun to use.
Yeah.
It does it on smartphone, not because the smartphone is so important to the app itself, but the smartphone is important because that's where the kids are living. Yeah. So we're taking the message to the audience in the place that they spend the most time, which makes it easy for them to consume. And then it integrates very deeply into the coach's environment, and there's all kinds of paper that they can print because coaches are typically low tech. So they can print all kinds of workbooks and huddle sheets and things that sort of tie together. That's what stimulates me about their approach.
Very good. So, in your eyes, besides what the whole vision of 3E is, where do you think that 3E can take itself and go into the future?
We've started. The Third Element has started with a passion and an interest in helping build leadership using the platform of athletics. When we start to think about mental toughness and emotional intelligence skills and team first mentality, we begin to realize that the reason we're teaching high school and college students this is because we know that someday they're going to go into the workforce, and employers are very interested in those attributes and those skill sets. So if we move beyond athletics, we begin to realize that the foundation is there, the techniques are there, the platform is there that actually allow the Third Element to be a leadership training tool, a culture building tool for a business as well as an athletic team. In a sense, a manager in a business is a coach, and the concepts apply the same.
Yeah.
So I can see the opportunity for the Third Element to continue to grow its fan base and continue to grow its offering so that it actually is embraced and utilized by corporations as well as school athletics.
So going on with that point, how would you say it could help in some ways for corporations that that correlate directly with the teams as well?
Two reasons. One, corporations, before they're able or willing to invest a tremendous amount of time or money, not that this is expensive, but time is money in a business. So for a corporation to embrace a particular platform, they want to know that it works. The neat part about what the Third Element is doing today is that when we follow athletics and we realize that each sport has its own definitive season, it gives the Third Element an opportunity to actually try different things and track results so that we have scientific data to back up the progress that people make by deploying these concepts. I would find that very useful in a business environment because businesses are attempting to bring in a leadership program that's proven, and there's some forecasted or extrapolated results that they could expect. So they know that if they go in and they provide tools to their managers to develop leadership and culture, they can expect a certain number of results within a defined, measurable period of time.
And so with the results that we're trying to get, per se, for a person that is working for them, how would you say that helps young athletes now that will be using the program right now?
Young athletes will find it easier to transition. Not every young athlete that plays high school sports is going to college on a full ride, nor are they going to play pro sports. So, the lion's share of the students who are playing sports, organized sports today, are going to ultimately end up in a job somewhere. And if corporations were to adopt more of this culture and this leadership mentality, it would make it much easier for a student to transition into a professional role and feel like they've already got a head start in terms of understanding how some of these concepts are used and why they're important.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. As someone who's just graduated from college, I'm a little different. I actually have been in great cultures for different sporting teams, but for some of my friends, I know it's very hard to be able to communicate with the teams that they're getting into, and they don't really feel as valued as what they could have been, or how I feel when I'm here at Third Element. But I think the great thing about the Third Element is it teaches those skills that corporations are looking for, and the transition is a lot easier, and they feel more comfortable. I know me being someone who's gone through the program feels a lot more comfortable when I share ideas or just share the team mentality and the values that we have. I kind of understand them a little bit better and know how to push that. But just for the last thing now, what would you say is the most valuable feature that the Third Element presents?
To me, the Third Element is valuable because we are an expert. So we're passionate and involved and dedicated and committed to growing championship culture. And we realize that the heavy lifting there is more on the mental side, the emotional side of the world than it is physical. Be it strength conditioning, be it diet. So we literally spend countless hours on a weekly basis gathering content from around the world that plays into these very topics. And we deploy that content and share that content out through all of our social channels, through a newsletter, and even on our website. In fact, we do a lot of podcasting, and when we have the fortune to podcast with pro athletes, one of the things they talk a lot about is getting drafted and getting traded to various teams. So you start out with a team, and then sometimes you don't get a vote. You get traded. Now you're going to a whole other team. And if you come from a team that has strong culture to a team that has broken culture, it has a traumatic impact on you. So for us, sharing concepts around developing championship culture and continually giving people an opportunity to educate themselves on this topic is where I think the Third Element really offers great value. And guess what, folks? All of our data, all of our information is shared free of charge. So all you really got to do is follow us.
Yeah, exactly. And I can say that's very, very powerful. I've seen when we have different kids come in from when I was working with the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee's men's basketball team, we'd have kids come transfer in, and they'd be, dang, I'm so happy here. Like this culture is way better than where I was at. And just you can see, and they talk about in their day-to-day life, how much better their lives outside of the sport is because of having great culture and having these values and expectations of themselves and accountability that comes along with great culture implemented into their day-to-day life then, because they practice it on the field, and their transition to life is a lot better, and they're not as scared per se to go out and attack the things that they want. So,
and they're learning, which is exactly what we want to do. Is we want to help them develop those skills that can help them be successful no matter what their walk in life. So if they continue to play sports, great. If they don't continue to play sports, eventually they're going to take a job somewhere or own their own company. And now they have some sense around how important leadership and how important team first mentality is. They can transfer that into their lives.
And there's a great stat out there. I can't say the specific number, but most corporations and companies in general, they like to hire former athletes because they have these skills already in place. And the quicker kids can learn it, the more beneficial it is to them and going into their lives. So
that's definitely one of the things, Trent, that I've picked up on the more time that I've spent with the Third Element. It just impresses me how athletes have an opportunity in their lives to absorb a lot of learning opportunities around soft skills that you wouldn't get if you weren't playing sports.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you for coming on today, Greg.
You bet.
It was fun to do the interview to you, and I hope you had just as much fun with us. But again, follow us on social media and check out our website at The Third Element. That's the3rdelement.com. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.